morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for waking up with us. I am Alex Finney, and it is Sunday. I know people are going to enjoy the rest of their weekend, so let's talk to Michael Smith now, who's going to let us know about that forecast that we all want to know.
All right, yesterday it was hot. We had those storms around. Today, fewer storms. The heat continues. Here's what we're tracking on this Sunday morning, Sunday fun day, Alex. Outdoor plans, go for it. A warm start, sun up at 5:49. Fewer storms today and just downright hot as we look ahead to the upcoming work week. It's around the corner. Right now on Storm Track Radar, the sweep comes back clean. Good morning to you. Coleman 71 right now, 70. Gadsden 73, Anniston. Live look outside across the Magic City. Still dark, still early. 74. The wind is calm. There is a little bit of patchy fog in the valleys. Dew point at 70 and it feels like 74. A lot of sunshine as we march on through the morning. Temperatures in the low 70s at 7. By 9 o'clock, the lower 80s. And then a mix of sun and clouds as we get into the 11 o'clock hour. Highs once again back in the lower 90s. Average high for this time of year, 91. I'm not quite sure where this is from, but if I had to take a guess, the Gulf Coast. We thank you for sharing that sunset picture with us. If you're off to the Sloss Fest as it wraps up today, high temperatures in the lower 90s, storm chance at 30%. So all in all, things looking good as we round out the weekend. We're going to talk more about the heat coming up in my Storm Track 7-day forecast. Alex?
Thank you, Michael. Breaking overnight, French prosecutors say 2 people are in custody following last week's deadly attack in Nice. A man and woman were arrested early today, days after 84 people died when a 20-ton truck barreled through a crowd celebrating Bastille Day. The arrests also come a day after terrorist group ISIS says a soldier carried out the attack. Also breaking overnight, 2 people are dead after a shooting at a medical center in Florida. Titusville police say it happened at the Parish Medical Center around 2 Eastern time. The hospital is about 40 miles east of Orlando. Police say the victim is an elderly female patient and a female employee. A suspect is in custody this morning. Well, new this morning, supporters of Turkey's president gathered outside his house early this morning. Hundreds cheered, waved flags, and chanted slogans following a failed attempt to overthrow the government. In one town square, people lit flares and waved the national flag, which you see right there in a show of defiance. Right now, the director of the CIA is making his first public comments following the events in Turkey and France. Our sister station in Mobile sat down for an exclusive interview with John Brennan at the CIA headquarters in Virginia yesterday. He says the chaos in Turkey was an effort made by a few groups of people who were hoping to gain traction.
Goal actually was. There are a number of allegations about their association with some foreign elements that have criticized the Turkish government. I think what they were trying to do was to topple the regime.
Stay with CBS42 News for continuing coverage of the Turkey and France attacks. Well, developing right now, police are investigating a car wreck in Vestavia Hills that killed a woman yesterday evening. This is the video we have right here. Our news crew's shot of the crash on Interstate 459 and Highway 280. Police tell us the driver hit a tree and died on the scene. We are working to learn more about the crash and the man, or the woman, I should say, who died. We'll update you on air and online with all of that new information. Also developing right now, 4 people are dead after an accident in Talladega County. It happened on Alabama State Highway 21 and Grist Mill Road yesterday afternoon. State troopers say other people were also hurt in the crash. We are working to learn more about what happened, and we'll bring you the latest on this story on air and online. Right now, a judicial ethics panel wants Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore removed from office. The state's Judicial Inquiry Commission made the suggestion in a court filing Friday. They say Moore should be removed for urging the state's probate judges to go against the federal court's order on same-sex marriage. Moore claims he never told the judges to refuse same-sex marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Well, happening tomorrow, the Republican National Convention kicks off in Cleveland, Ohio. It runs through Thursday. CBS's Weijia Jiang brings us more from the city. This all after Donald Trump announces Mike Pence as his vice president pick.
Supporters packed an airport hangar to welcome Governor Mike Pence back to Indiana, just hours after Donald Trump officially introduced him as his running mate.
Today in New York City, I accepted Donald Trump's invitation to run and serve as Vice President of the United States of America.
Pence tested out his stump speech before the Hoosier crowd.
Donald Trump is a good man, and he will make a great president of this nation.
Trump said he admired the work Pence has done in Indiana.
Indiana's unemployment rate, and this is the primary reason I wanted Mike, other than he looks very good. Governor Pence balanced the budget. Can you imagine a balanced budget?
During the Republican National Convention next week, Pence will work to convince skeptics Trump can unite the party and defeat Hillary Clinton in November. The Republican running mate sat down with Leslie Stahl for their first interview that airs Sunday on 60 Minutes.
What about the negative side? He apologized for being a negative.
We're different people. I understand that. I'll give you an example. Hillary Clinton is a liar. Hillary Clinton, I was just proven last week.
That's
Hillary
negative.
Clinton.
Trump said he won't ask Pence to be negative. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Cleveland, Ohio.
New this morning, we're getting our first look at the new Trump and Pence campaign logo. Here it is. It started circulating first in a campaign fundraising email. Stay with CBS42 for continuing coverage of campaign 2016. Police relations continue to be a hot topic across the country, a topic that has taken center stage after two men were killed by police, one in Minnesota, the other in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Well, here in Birmingham, Community First wants to start the conversation about the public and police relations. A panel of local police officers and the district attorney's office answered questions from the community. The DA's office stressed the importance of law enforcement and the community working together.
I think it's a really good start. I think that people are starting to listen a little bit more, and we do need to continue to have those conversations in the wake of everything that's been going on.
Police officers need to be visible in the areas that they protect, and that's very necessary when you bring up young children to not just know the law, but respect the officers that uphold the law.
Black Lives Matter Birmingham and a representative from the mayor's office were part of yesterday's discussion. Well, happening today, memorial services start for a North Alabama toddler who accidentally shot and killed himself. This very sad story here is out of Colbert County. The sheriff's office has identified the toddler as Robert Michael Reeves. We're told he was home with his mother and other children when the tragic accident happened. Deputies are still investigating. Visitation for Robert will be in Tuscumbia. His funeral will be set for Monday. Well, your time right now is 5:07. All parents love a good baby shower, right? But how about a huge baby shower? Next, we take you to UAB, where babies and their parents are very happy after a big surprise.
Good Sunday morning to you, Central Alabama. Live look outside, camera pointed off to the east. Sun up at 5:49. It's a mild start, mid-70s. Get ready for a hot afternoon. We're going to talk about the heat and the storm chance after this.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Sunday morning to you, Central Alabama. Here's what we're tracking for you on this Sunday morning. A warm morning, sun up at 5:49. Fewer afternoon storms compared to yesterday, and the heat is really going to soar as we jump into a new work week. Right now on Storm Tracker radar, the sweep comes back clean. I want to widen out the shot, go back in time over the last 12 hours. This is the radar summary or composite over the last 12 hours with storm reports, a nasty line of storms across parts of the Great Lakes, stretching down into parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. For us, beautiful, right? Sun up at 5:49, so a picture-perfect start to our Sunday morning. 74 right now in Birmingham. The wind is calm. Feels like 74. Dew point is at 70. So a little muggy out, but we'll take that over the storms, at least the storm chance being as high as it was yesterday. Trade-off, right? Feel you. All right, speaking of feeling like, temperatures are going to get into the lower 90s. Feels like temperatures mid-90s as we head into the afternoon. And later on this evening, temperatures kind of settle back down into the mid-70s. A real quick check on our Storm Track Futurecast clouds and radar through the morning. Just a few clouds overhead, a very isolated storm in the mix as we head through the day. All right, here's a look at the next 3 days. When I say the heat is back and the heat is on and it's going to hang out all the way through, next Saturday, normal high for this time of year is 91. We're going to be back in the mid-90s again Monday, Tuesday through maybe next Saturday. All right, new this morning, a semi-truck driver is recovering after hurricane-force winds caused major problems in Kansas yesterday. Look at this scene in Ford County. Emergency crews had to work to rescue that truck driver after the winds tumped his truck over. Boy, it sure did. The National Weather Service in Wichita reported 80-mile-an-hour winds at the city's airport, and that's the 8th highest recorded gust in 46 years.
Wow.
Yikes.
Ooh, not a good scene there.
No.
Well, to this story, 'cause
Okay.
this is a pretty good scene here. It was a very special day at UAB yesterday after dozens of families were treated to a huge baby shower. Wait till you see this video,
Okay.
Michael. This video that you're about to see is as the Church of the Highlands and Footprint Ministries, they threw a party for 90s babies at this hospital, the NICU Center. Footprint Ministries says this is their way, actually, of helping those families with babies who need round-the-clock care.
It is a very important project for us to get to give back to these families. I had 2 NICU babies myself, so I knew that I was destined to do this, give back to the families.
Each family got care bags full of baby supplies and clothes. The church groups also gave away donated items like new car seats and playpens. Wonderful scene there. Well, your time right now is 5:13. The Jackson family is known for music, right? And Brother Tito, well, he's no exception. Next, the interview with CBS 42 that's all new this morning. And also, people in Pelham came out to celebrate the city. Still ahead, how they kept cool on a hot day. You're watching CBS 42 Morning News. We'll be right back after the break.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Well, it is hot out there, but people in Pelham, they found a way to stay cool yesterday. And how did they manage to stay cool? I'm sure you're wondering. Well, with some ice skating in July. That's right. That was just one of many things at yesterday's Pelham Palooza. Families could also get in on the bungee jumping, the trampoline, and kids could also make fun crafts. Well, to this story. Right now, 2 pilots are in the hospital after being stranded in the water for 20 hours. This that you see right here is what it looked like as crews finally got to the 2 men in Hawaii. Their small plane crashed into the ocean Thursday off Oahu. After the crash, it took search crews a long time to find them. Federal authorities are now investigating what caused the plane's engines to go out. Those 2 pilots are expected to make a full recovery. Well, when you hear the Jacksons, we tend to associate that with music, right? Especially when we hear the name, I don't know, Michael Jackson. Well, in a story that's all new this morning, Tito Jackson was here in Birmingham and talked to our news team about his new song. Here's some of what he told us during that interview.
Well, a few things inspired this album. One of them being that I've never recorded an album, and it's 9 family members in my family. I have 9 siblings, and they have all recorded. Even my children have recorded music. And I was becoming a trivia question.
Wow. Well, Tito Jackson told us so many interesting things in that interview. And coming up at 6:30, we are going to hear more from him. He actually tells us why it took him so long to finally do a solo project. That's right here this morning on our show. So be sure to check that out. Right, Michael?
Yeah.
Don't you just love the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, that whole family?
I do. I just watched a great documentary on the ABC.
Yes.
I mean, kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Never mind.
Well, before we get to the rest of that interview, we first have to know about the weather this morning.
Let's do it. A beautiful, beautiful start. Check this out, Alex. Got the camera pointed off to the east. Isn't that gorgeous?
It's beautiful.
It's almost as pretty as you and your blue this morning.
Michael, you're making me blush.
I mean it. Okay, sun up at 5:49. So again, looking off to the east. Clear start, 74 right now in Birmingham. The wind is calm, dew point 70, so it feels like 74, not too bad, right? Temperatures are going to climb out of the 70s into the lower 80s as we head into the 9 o'clock hour, forecasting 81, give or take a degree or 2, depending on your exact location. 87 by 11 this morning, 91 at 1. A few more clouds overhead as we head through the afternoon hours. Storm chance today, 30% at best. So the storm chance is lower today than it was yesterday. If you're going to head out and kind of wrap things up over at the Sloss Fest today as it winds down, I'm sure it'll wind up before it winds down. 93 plus the humidity. It'll feel more like the mid to upper 90s. Hydrate, lightweight, light color clothing, storm chance 30% this afternoon into the early evening. Right now on Storm Track radar, the sweep comes back clean, nice and quiet. All right, so here's the setup. An area of high pressure, we call this the Bermuda High, is kind of nosing itself back off to the west and pushing some of the moisture, the axis of moisture, off to the west. Upper level winds to the north, the jet stream. That's where the roughest weather will stay today. All right, Storm Track Futurecast, clouds, radar, and temperature combined. Going to start the clock and stop it at 11 o'clock this morning. Low 90s perhaps, Jasper, upper 80s, Pell City, 91 right around Birmingham at 1 p.m. And the lighter shades of green, here's a legend, precip legend. So the lighter the green, the lighter the forecast rain. The darker the green, maybe a heavier little downpour as we head through the afternoon. If you're outdoors and you can hear thunder, that's your cue to get indoors. Play it safe. And speaking of playing it safe, it's easy to do. You can download our Storm Track weather app, search WIET42 weather in the App Store or Google Play Store. Hour-by-hour forecast, live interactive radar, and lightning. We can set it up for you where you can detect lightning in your area. It works, P.S., not only here at home, but anywhere. If you're traveling, vacation, whatever, we got you covered. All right, the heat continues to build midweek, mid-90s. Again, average high for this time of year, 91. You factor in the humidity, 95, 96 will feel more like 100, 103, let's say. Overnight temperatures, on point, low to mid-70s.
It's hot.
It is.
You see me, I'm like this. I'm like, oh, the heat is definitely on, inside and outside.
Stay cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your time right now, it's 5:27. History is always changing and new things are always happening, right? Well, next, the story of one lucky photographer who's seen it all and has a whole lot of cool stories to tell us. Hear about it after the break.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back. Well, question for you. Just how many historical events can you think of over the past 50 years? All of the pivotal moments that have shaped our lives in some way. Well, one man witnessed many of those events through the eyes of a camera lens and captured them for the world to see. In this Eye on History, CBS 42 News anchor Jamie Langley sits down with this lucky photographer to uncover more incredible stories.
We turn our eyes to 1968, a spring day and a less than sunny time in the nation's history. It's the height of the civil rights movement in Memphis, Tennessee. Clarence Gibbons, a young cameraman for CBS News, stands at the foot of a stage, watching through a lens as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. takes the platform once more in his pursuit for peace.
Responding to the call. It was different from any speech he'd ever given before. We recognized that because we'd heard them all before. And most of them were, he had a dream. Well, this one was different. His speech was like, we have been to the mountaintop as a people. We as a people will go to the other side. He says, I won't be with you on the other side, except in spirit. It sounded like a man that either knew he was going to die, was either wishing he was going to die, or had a premonition you can't explain.
But Gibbons was not prepared for the nightmare that came next.
We followed him to the Lorraine Hotel that night. He went into a room behind the office on the ground floor. And there was a little driveway in front of that room and a solid brick wall over here. That was a secure room. He told us good night from the door, closed the door, we all left. When I say we all, NBC, CBS, ABC. A little later on into the night, radio broke out. I had the radio on and news broke in that Martin Luther King had just been shot.
It was then that the tragedy became the full focus for Gibbons and the country.
When we got to the emergency room, we didn't go in the emergency room door, but we were standing right there at the door. Film camera, not video camera, the film camera, and a couple of newspaper reporters. And Andy Young walked up. He was crying and just rubbing his face, and then he stopped. He looked at us and he did like that, like Martin Luther King had been hit right up in here, and it just destroyed his head. And he said he's gone. That whole town broke apart that night and rioted, and it was just a bad time.
Coming up at 6:25, we asked Gibbons what assignment had the biggest impact on him personally. It's quite a heart-wrenching story of a first-hand encounter that you don't want to miss. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, right?
Yes, Sunday
Enjoying
fun
the
day.
weekend. Thank you so much for waking up with us. We have so much news to cover here this morning, and of course, weather as well. So Michael Smith is going to fill us in on that forecast for you for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, let's
People are going to enjoy it.
round it out a little nicer than yesterday.
Oof.
The humidity was at us yesterday. That's not going to change today, but fewer storms. Here's what we're tracking. A warm morning, a beautiful morning. We're going to get to the sunrise in progress in a second. Get ready for just a few pop-up storms this afternoon and a hot work week ahead. Storm track radar, the sweep comes back clean. I want to take you back 12 hours. Wind gusts Tuscaloosa County of 50 miles an hour yesterday around 5:30 or 6, and also some power lines down with a little renegade storm there. This morning, beautiful as we look off to the east, sun up at 5:49, 74 right now Birmingham. The wind is calm, dew point at 70. Here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast as we march through the morning into the afternoon. Low to mid 70s, 7 o'clock with a lot of sunshine. 9 o'clock, same deal, but we transition into the lower 80s, upper 80s by 11, and then low 90s by 1. Again, the storm chance at around 30% as we get into the afternoon hours with the daytime heating, but I don't think the coverage will be as widespread, and it really wasn't all that widespread yesterday. So it's going to be hot with an occasional pop-up storm. Sloss Fest wraps up today, but as it gets going on this morning into the afternoon and early evening, temperatures will get into the low mid-90s. Again, the storm chance at 30%. Anytime you want the forecast, we've got the app for you. Search WIT42 Weather. Free weather app in the App Store or Google Play Store. You can get hour-by-hour forecast, weather alerts, and a lot more. I'll be back in a few minutes with a complete rundown of the 7-day forecast. Alex?
Thank you, Michael. Well, new this morning, Georgia authorities are investigating an officer-involved shooting. The man hurt in this shooting is accused of stealing a patrol car. Police say the man committed some sort of crime before jumping into that cruiser. He led police on a chase through 2 counties before being shot by deputies. There's no word on his condition this morning. Well, also new this morning, 14 people are recovering after a shooting in Bakersfield, California. Deputies say the chaos started during a house party. Victims were shot in the arms, legs, and chests. We know that 2 people are in critical condition this morning.
You know, here in this neighborhood, you hear gunshots a lot. So I figured, okay, I'll just stay low. I went to go check on my mother. She was okay.
Police say more than 150 people were at the party when shots went off. Police say it started after a group of uninvited guests were asked to leave. Well, new this morning, this year's national NAACP event is underway in downtown Cincinnati, and it's the 107th annual convention for the organization. This year's theme is Our Lives Matter, Our Votes Count. The NAACP's president says they're united in the fight against police brutality.
At this moment in our nation's history, where so many in the streets stand steadfastly, unapologetically against police misconduct, we also stand for and alongside law enforcement that stands up and protects our folks.
Leaders will also focus on topics that will empower young people. Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton is expected to speak. The convention ends July 20th. Well, new this morning, a somber day for people in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Saturday marked 1 year since a shooting that killed 4 Marines and a Navy sailor. The shooting started at an armed forces recruiting center at a strip mall. The shooter then made his way to a Navy Reserve center and opened fire. Memorial services took place Saturday to honor those lives. One lawmaker says the shooting is still a topic of conversation in Washington.
Members on both sides of the aisle poured their hearts out to me and to our great city. They knew we were hurting. They knew this was a terrorist attack. The support has been tremendous.
Some people say the event was too emotional. They couldn't even attend. A member of British Parliament also made an appearance at the memorial service, saying he wanted to remember those who died around the same time he was elected into office. Well, coming up, a parole hearing is set for the last surviving bomber of the 16th Street Baptist Church. 15 years ago, Thomas Blanton was convicted of first-degree murder for killing 4 girls, 4 little black girls, back in 1963. Jefferson County District Attorney Brandon Falls says he will be going to that hearing. The prosecution is to convict Blanton was led by the U.S. Attorney's Office with assistance from the DA's office. Falls says it's one of the biggest cases here in Central Alabama and even in the country. He says Blanton has not served his debt to society for what he's done and should remain in prison.
I don't believe he'll be paroled. I don't see that happening. But this is a process that families and representatives of law enforcement attend regularly.
Blanton's hearing is set for August 3rd. Well, to this news this morning, the bronze bomber remains undefeated. Deontay Wilder retains his world heavyweight title, but does it come at a cost? Wilder was determined to put on a good show for his hometown fans, and he was in complete control for the entire fight against Chris Arreola. After 3 very lackluster rounds, Wilder hit Arreola with a shot in the 4th round that put him to his knees. It also drew some blood, and he wasn't the same after that. The fight went 8 rounds, with the ref calling it a technical knockout for Wilder, not the true knockout he wanted. Well, Wilder, we know he did sustain serious injuries during that fight, with some reports saying he may have a broken right hand. So What does this mean for his immediate future? Well, sports director Chris Brees breaks it all down for us coming up in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we're going to focus on this story. Right now, police are questioning a woman they think shot her brother after an argument. It happened Friday night on 5th Court North. The man was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police have not said if the victim's sister will face any charges. A search is underway in Bessemer for this missing 23-year-old. Montorius Long was reported missing on July 5th from the Brighton Midfield area. He may be driving a car that looks like this, a 2005 gold Hyundai Elantra. It has a large dent on the front bumper. Now, if you know Long's whereabouts, please call the Bessemer Police Department. The number is on our screen, 481-4361. And some good news to share with you this morning. Remember, we reported this yesterday. 59-year-old Grady Petway has been found. Petway was reported missing Friday by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, but according to troopers, he was found safe Saturday morning near Bessemer. Well, that's always a good story to report. Well, your time right now is 5:37. Pokemon Go doesn't quite go as planned. That's right. The massive crash after the popular app is launched in 26 more countries.
Good Sunday morning to you, Central Alabama. Sunrise in progress, sun up at 5:49. So we're looking off to the east right now. Temperatures in the lower 70s, the winds calm, some patchy valley fog. We're going to talk about a warm up this afternoon, the storm chance, and a very hot work week ahead after this.
So, Michael, we have to clip. We have to clip. I'll tell you in a second. You know, Mike, we got to clip that. I could not believe I just saw that girl, the anchor on Fox. I can't believe that they make their reporters do that while they're pregnant. I was just thinking about that.
Wait, is she the anchor that's on now?
Yeah.
You're watching the CBS42 Morning News.
Good Sunday morning to you, Central Alabama. Sun up in just about a minute or two. A beautiful start. 74 in Birmingham. The wind is calm. Dew point 70. There's some patchy valley fog early this morning. We're going to see a lot of sunshine overhead as we march our way through mid-morning into the afternoon. Temperatures back in the lower 90s. Yesterday, Birmingham Shuttlesworth International topped out at 89. A couple of degrees below normal. Our average high for this time of year, 91. We're going to get into the lower 90s. You factor in the humidity later on today, it'll feel like the mid to upper 90s. The storm chance at about 30%. So here's the deal. We've got the Bermuda high nudging its self back off to the west, so it pushes some of the humidity and the moisture axis back off to the west. That's why the storm chance is lower today compared to what we saw yesterday. All right, anytime you want the forecast, weather in the palm of your hand, If you haven't done so already, we've got the weather app for you. Search WIAT42 weather in the App Store or Google Play Store. Hour-by-hour forecast, weather alerts, lightning detection, and a whole lot more. Here's a look at the next 3 days. Okay, temperatures get way up there, mid-90s on tap. Monday, back to work. The storm chance comes down to 20% all the way through next Saturday. Pretty seasonal for this time of year. The only thing that's not, those afternoon highs above normal. Okay, here we go. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope shows a secluded starburst galaxy. Normal galaxies produce only a couple of new stars per year, but a starburst galaxy like this one experiences an extraordinary high rate of star formation. Astronomers are still trying to figure out why that is. It lies about 300 million light years away. That bright object on the right is a star in our own galaxy. Starburst.
Very interesting. Some
Yeah.
good visuals there.
I was kind of cutting my eyes over to the right to see that
Yeah,
while I was
know.
reading.
Right, really going like this. Well, Pokemon Go, it was a no-go as it attempted to launch in 26 new countries Saturday. But hackers say they're the ones responsible for the game crashing during its massive worldwide rollout. Listen to this. A group called Poodle Corp tweeted that it's behind server crashes. The tweets also to suggest that another attack on Pokemon is coming. Pokemon Go is hugely popular. Augmented reality game and that you can actually play on your cell phone. I'm sure many people know about it at this point. It was originally launched in July 7th, but it was only available in 8 countries until yesterday. The company behind Pokemon says it's working to fix those server issues. Well, your time right now is 5:42. Parents, we've got a very important recall for you to know about this morning. The baby gate's now on the recall list and the problem behind it. We're going to let you know right after the break.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back. Well, in consumer news this morning, there is an alert for parents. Ready to assemble furniture maker IKEA is recalling 80,000 baby gates. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the gates can unlock by themselves and, of course, can lead to your baby falling. 10 injuries have been reported, including 2 concussions. This is all according to CPSC. The recalled gates include the following: the Partool Safety Gate and Extension, the Partool Fast Safety Gate, and the Partool Clamma Safety Gate and Extension. IKEA advised customers to stop using them and return them for a full refund. Here at home, the city of Birmingham hosted a star-studded or studded event at Kelly Ingram Park to silence the violence. It was a very, very great event. The city partnered with 98.7 KISS FM and Birmingham's own Ruben Studdard. I don't know if you caught my joke there earlier, but there it is right there for the rally. Mayor Bell tells us the city is embarking on a series of events to get the community involved in their nonviolence mission.
It can't be done just out of the mayor's office. We all have to work together and collaborate together. And we do that by having fellowship, by pulling all the organizations, all the churches, all the community activists together to address that issue.
Bell says they were delighted to have Ruben Studdard there to perform, and of course he drew out a great crowd so that more people, of course, could hear their message. And Michael, I know you and I were there, and the crowd was bumping. They were doing the shuffle, and of course those messages were good too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of nice people. Had a chance to say hello, and I was kind of getting my groove on at times.
Yes, I saw you.
I know you did. I was just making sure. I was wondering if you got me on camera there, but you didn't.
Well, the good thing is that the weather was good at that point yesterday.
Yeah,
people were enjoying it.
It was. It was a little humid, but other than that, you know, no problems. Let's talk about what we're tracking this morning. A warm start. Fewer storms later on this afternoon, and a hot work week. Temperatures are going to march right back into the middle 90s as soon as tomorrow. Storm track radar nice and quiet on this Sunday morning. That was not the case around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock yesterday evening. Some storms got a little rowdy with wind damage and trees down on top of some power lines. Tuscaloosa County, right around 5:30. Okay, sun is up, a gorgeous start on this Sunday morning. 74 right now in Birmingham, wind is calm. Some patchy fog in the valleys. We're going to get out of the 70s, back into the low 80s as soon as 9 o'clock this morning. Mid to upper 80s by 11, a mix of sun and clouds. And as we head into the 1 o'clock hour, temperatures in the lower 90s. It'll feel like the mid to upper 90s, and the storm chance today at about 30%. We're talking about coverage. If you're going to head out to the Sloss Fest as it wraps up today, temperatures will peak in the low to mid 90s. Again, about a 30% chance of showers and storms. So here's the setup. High pressure, the Bermuda high, nudging its way back off to the west, pushing some of the moisture and the moisture axis that's been right on top of us back off to the west. The jet stream well to our north, that's where the roughest weather will continue to break out again today. So let's walk through this hour by hour together with our storm track futurecast, clouds, radar, and temperatures. White is a cloud cover. The whiter or the thicker clouds or the brighter white colors here that you're seeing. So we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the morning, and then this is the rainfall legend. When you start to see yellows and oranges, that's a good chance we're going to see some thunderstorms. The lighter shades of green indicate these little pop-up showers and maybe an isolated storm around, let's say 2, 3 o'clock around Pell City, give or take. But again, the coverage of these storms will be very isolated. If you're outdoors and you can hear thunder, that's your cue to take it inside. Lightning is close enough to be dangerous. Speaking of lightning, our weather app can detect when lightning is in your neighborhood. All you've got to do is download it. It's free in the App Store or the Google Play Store. All right, let's talk about the heat and the big warm-up for the work week. Oh, I see so many smiles on your faces at home. Not really. I say, hey, if you have a comp day or an extra day to take off, do it this week and go see a movie. Stay cool. Highs in the mid-90s, overnight temperatures, low to mid-70s. The storm chance relatively low at 20%. Whew.
Well, the forecast does look good for next week. It's just going to be hot.
Yeah, our average high is 91. That's where we should be. So 95. Factor in the humidity, you'll feel more like 100, maybe 105 at times.
Ooh, my goodness, the summer is definitely here.
Yes, it is.
Well, your time right now, it is 5:50. Are you ready for a road trip, Michael? Are you? All right, well, coming up, our new series from traffic anchor Rachel Lundberg. She joins us as we head to Nakalula Falls.
Deontay Wilder retained his belt last night, but it came at a cost. We'll tell you what it was coming up in sports.
Live look over Birmingham as we make you up on this Sunday morning. Beautiful picture. We'll be right back.